teachers are not graphic designers, right? Unless they're graphic design teachers. Today I'm going to show you how tools like PowerPoint, Canva and Keynote actually waste your time by pulling you in the wrong direction. I'm going to show you how CueCam does things differently by sort of like helping you focus on the right thing. And the first thing I want to talk about is how nice templates tend to make for ugly slides. Okay, why do we end up with these ugly slides? These tools, because all these tools sort of they give you like a template picker like this, don't they? Like, okay, choose which one of these you want. Like, okay, well today I'm talking about corporate strategy, so I better take this corporate strategy overview slide, right? And it is exciting to have so many options, but the problem is that they all, to sort of look good and appealing in a thumbnail, isn't necessarily the same as like what is going to be pragmatic for your presentation or sustainable or consistent. Like, you know, you're sort of, if you end up like picking something like this, for example, like now you're sort of stuck with this crazy font, right? But yeah, the point is that they're kind of style over substance because that's the way to make them appeal when the content isn't real. So these are things without real content. They have to have some sort of appeal, so they have to be sort of like overloaded with styling. So what that means is the frame is dominating the content. So instead of the content being able to breathe and then the framing sort of like giving it a little bit of, you know, making it a bit branded a little bit better, it's like there's no content, so we have to make the frame like the busiest thing. So it's sort of like you take something like this. Okay, I think we can say, okay, that's a pretty good little piece of content. But so why would you then like stick it in something like this? Why would you then go like, oh no, but you see, if you didn't know you had this, then you're like, oh, well, I've got to make this look nice. So I better add some plants and some white stuff and some italic fonts and some all this kind of different bits and bobs. I think it all, you know, if you start from what the slide design is going to look like, you end up like just not really, you just end up detracting from that, right? So a busy frame does detract from the content. And when you're teaching it also adds confusion as well. Like, so instead of just showing the thing that you're talking about, you're showing like, you got all this stuff buzzing around it, distracting. And so people's brains are kind of like doing too much work on stuff that is completely irrelevant to what you're trying to teach. So I am talking about remote teaching here, right? Like in the classroom, it is a different thing. But what I have is a tool for remote teaching. And when you are thinking about putting together something for remote teaching, there are three elements of a slide, essentially, that you want to think about. So the first is the content, like what am I showing? What's the main event of this? What is the picture? What's the Mona Lisa on this slide? What is the diagram on this slide? What is the thing I am talking about that I'm using to illustrate my point? And then you've got like the styling, like, okay, is there anything else on there? Is it colourful? Do I need to sort of do anything to embellish that? But then really, you are a really important part of the slide. And that is something that's completely missing from these tools. So, you know, an exciting template, as I say, tends to cause style to dominate content or require certain content to work. And it also fails to give you anywhere to be. So when you're more prominent on the screen like I am here, then the last thing you need is a lot of text, and these templates tend to be pretty text heavy. So something like this it's a nice template, but like, where do I go on this? Like, as soon as I'm, you know, this has a balance to it. Like, you know, we've got the design, we've got the layout like that. As soon as you stick me in there, like the balance is thrown off, right? As soon as you stick, where do you put yourself? Like here, I'm covering up the content. Like, am I here? Like, you know, where am I on this slide? No, I mean, usually I'm like here, you know, with the students, like down the side, you know, and that's no way to live. That's no way to present. That's no way for people to be able to engage with what you're saying. And then like this text as well, I'm always saying this, like what are you putting text like that on, especially if some people are looking on a phone screen. If someone wants to look at this video or like watch live on a mobile screen and it's coming in at 720p or something, why are you putting all this text on the slide, right? So this sort of superficially looks nice, but actually in practice, completely not suited to what we're trying to do. And then something like this as well. I'm going to show you a bit more. So this is like, okay, this is teaching orientated. Here's a thing about blood, right? So this is a Canva template. And this is all very well, right? So, and if you literally wanted to give this lesson, you'd be fine. But let's say you chose one of these things. Okay, we're going to talk about the heart. And I've got this template now. And you know, we've got some text here. Like, I'd probably rather just say this, or you know, I don't know why I'm sort of using this. Is almost 2 slides already. Like, this should probably have its own slide, but a title, sure. And then we got this, and then we've got this red, and we've got this stuff here, and then we've got this really nice crisp diagram here, and then some labels, and these are editable in Canva. But say like I want a slightly more detailed diagram. What do I end up doing? I end up going to the internet and I end up sort of pasting this on, don't I? Right? And it just looks it looks bad. And if you're not a graphic designer, well, it looks fine, but like for me it just looks bad, right? Because I know why it looks a bit off. But if you're not a graphic designer, then you're not really going to know what's wrong with it. Like, so I'm looking at this. I'm saying, you know, like this font is completely different to this font. We've got this white here instead of like the nice off pink color. The sizes of the text are kind of different now. The color of this, so if we go back to the previous one, like this is nice sort of muted colors, but when you come back here, it's a bit more kind of saturated, so it looks a bit uglier. You know, this isn't lining up properly because I wasn't quite paying attention to that. We've got these outlines. You know, and we can compare sort of like, you know, these have got these nice white arrows that kind of like sort of go with the scheme, but when you come onto this one, it's sort of like it's got a different kind of style of things. And it's like, you know, someone has put a lot of work into designing this, but if you don't have the same tools that they have, which means that if you want to do anything that deviates in any way from the Canva template, it's just going to be ugly. Like, it's just, you know, what is this adding except kind of like making the work that you've done look worse, right? Making the stuff that you want to show look like the worst thing on there, when actually, like, this is all you should be focused on. This is like window dressing and nonsense that is not relevant to what you're teaching. The moment you start customizing something like this, you know, immediately you're going to get that kind of scrappy look, which the more design is in there, which is the one that you're going to be drawn to. You're not going to be clicking on the boring one, right? When you're looking for those templates, you're going to be drawn to the interesting looking one, and then you're just going to end up with a design that's kind of like detracts from what you're doing, I think. And then another example is like, what about Keynote? Like these, you know, beautiful templates they have. Like, you know, you've got all your different ones: bold color, showcase, briefing, academy. But like, sometimes you've got to think about why these look nice, and often it actually comes down to the photography that's in here. Like, we've got this turtle, or we've got this, you know, we've got this image here that, like, if you take, so if you put your own photography in, it's just not going to look as good. So, for example, like say I start with this, right? We've got this nice color scheme. These two colors go really well together. I should take a white so I don't ruin it. We've got the black on there, but also like what you're not, you know, what you're subconsciously not realizing is going on is this framing is all nice, that she's wearing a solid color, like just the image quality is very good. As soon as I go, like, I'm going to drag a picture of me on there, what have we got? Like, this is the same layout, this is the same template, but like, oh no, suddenly I've got too much stuff going on in the background, so you can't even see the text, right? And I'm not quite like framed off, and you know, I'm sort of framed a bit differently. I'm not like sort of up like that and up like that. And I didn't go on a photo shoot to do this, so it's just a bit of a nightmare. So like, this is the same template, but what's the point of even having the template, because I don't have the photography? So it does not have to be this way, right? So what I'm doing with CueCam is just kind of doing away with that convoluted design, all these convoluted design features, so that you actually really only need to think about your content and nothing else. And so this is what CueCam gives you. Like, and this is not a selection of different templates. This is it, right? This is just, CueCam gives you like one kind of, it gives you like 4 different themes, but really it just gives you one. It's like the clean theme is something that I've designed to generally work, and it's what I've been presenting with today, and it's so you're sort of seeing it in action. I can just throw in stuff and it's going to look pretty good. And so here we have, like, you know, it starts from, it's just you, or we have, like, you know, we can add a little title down here, or we can have a lower third, or we can have like some title and bullets, picture and a title, 2 pictures, like pictures and bullets, video, background, movie. You know, we've got some advanced stuff down the bottom, but it's really like you are part of this frame in every case, which is not how like traditional presentation software works, or even how something like Canva works. But also like trying to do stuff like this with OBS or eCam is really convoluted. Like you've got to create a special scene with a title in it and like go to the right scene. There's a lot of stuff, whereas here we're very much content driven, so it's a lot easier to put this stuff together and not have to kind of worry about the technicalities of it, because yeah, so there's no need for the bells and whistles of these presentations, because it's you're the main thing, and generally you're going to be on the screen, and if you're not, well, if you're kind of adding anything, it's going to be just enough to support what you're saying. And so I'm going to show you like a bit more about that. But you basically, what you can do with CueCam, just download it, start by just picking these layouts, just try one of these layouts, change the text, there you go. Like you're going to see very quickly that it's very easy to update it. And I mean, actually, like I don't use the layouts at all myself, because they're really just, they're there to give you an idea of what will work. But like you can just type in stuff, and there's going to be more content on this on the channel, so make sure you subscribe and so that you don't miss that. But I'm going to be talking a lot more about what you can do with it. But I'm going to show you now like some examples of the sorts of things that you might want to do in your teaching. So here's a lower third, right? So sometimes you just want to put something down the bottom, and I've actually like added a footnote down there just to sort of describe it. But like, what does that look like? That is, this is actually like the lower third. I just put in that tag, and then I actually put in a footnote as well. But like, you probably wouldn't be doing that for when you're using it. A left or right side layout. So this, if you've got an image that you don't need to zoom in on, you can, and you're going to be here. And as you've been seeing, and then you can just kind of put something on the screen and say, copy and paste that out of Google. It's going to look pretty good, and you don't have to think about it. All you've got to think about is like, and this, I mean, this might look a bit scary, but this is just three things. You've got the title, left, right layout. You've got the image. So I just pasted in an image that happened to be called that, and that went in next. And then I added another little title just to sort of add some embellishment to that. So you see it's like the title is there, the image is there, and the bottom thing is there, and it just goes top to bottom. Like the order you put things in is the order that it appears there. You don't have to like drag any text fields around, right? You don't have to muck about. You can just say, I want these images. And then of course, like you would never have a slide that was just that. You would also have, you'd have your speaker notes. You'd have like, what am I talking about here? And that's like a really key thing. But what I'm showing you today is just like the slides. You can have bullets like this. So you see we've got like some aligned bullets along the left, and that's another useful thing, and they're going to animate in as you go through, and that just looks like this, right? I just put in the hash for a title, one hash is a title, and then a star is a bullet point. Yep, so another star, bullet point. So you didn't have to like muck about like laying this out or worrying about all that stuff. You were just able to kind of like, okay, I want 2 bullets, and this is what they're going to say. I'm not going to have to like drag anything around or like add a new text field because I picked a template that didn't have the bullet, and then I've got to like make everything thinner if I want to put myself on one side. Like, no, it knows that this is the layout, and you can change the width of this as well just by dragging it in CueCam. That's it. Like you just put the stars in and you got your bullet points. Like you don't have to worry about anything else. And then stuff like this middle layout, this is nice for transitions. So you've seen every time I've gone to a new section, it just kind of instantly comes up on the screen. I think that works well for stuff like this. And again, like this, I've just got two levels of title. I've got the middle, and I've done the 3 hashes just to make that a bit smaller than the other one. Tables, like I actually, you won't be able to do this. Today I was like, I want to be able to put images in tables. So this is a table. So, what you can't see, because I think it would make it busy, is like the alignment. But you see that lines up, that lines up, that lines up, that lines up. But you can just add in tables. And I actually find that really useful for teaching related slides. And then what does that look like? This is a bit more advanced, but there's an example in there. But basically, this vertical line is a column. So this is Markdown, basically. You can ask ChatGPT to give you Markdown for a table, and it will give you this format, right? So that's kind of a way that you can work with it if you're a bit new to it. But I've put sort of different levels of title in there. I've put an image, like there's shopping in there, there's that pasted PNG image, and then that just comes out laid out like that. So sometimes you want a table, you can make that look nice. You're not having to manually, like this isn't a text box with like a resizing thing that you've got to like be careful not to miss a line, right? These are not like things you've got to think about. It just like naturally reflows to the size that you want, and then you can like jiggle it a little bit by changing the font, you know, the title level and stuff like that, just if it's not quite right. And then whenever you are doing something a bit more detailed, use a full screen background image. And so then you're going to be picture in picture down here, like where I am. So you'll be picture in picture like I am here. And then this image you can just zoom in on, right? Like you can just kind of like come in and out. And I'll show you what that will actually look like. And then all that is like we added a background image. And again, like my notes are up at the top. It's an upper third in this one. So I just you know, added a couple of titles there for you just to sort of provide some context to that thing. So you can see like I think that's about the smallest you ever want to have text on a remote video slide, but also we're able to fully zoom in on that with CueCam as well. So you can say, okay, we're going to zoom in onto this bit. We can like, you know, draw around it with video pencil, all sorts, just to like, you know, you can use the sort of spotlight tool and go, okay, this is the right primary bronchus that we're going to talk about next. So there's all these little tools for just making that more interactive, so that all you've got to do is chuck that image on, and then when you come to it, students are asking questions, you're able to just like jump in. And like, there is some customization available. So you see, here I've done, you know, chalkboard bold. I've set the default like, you know, slide color to this green, and you see it's like, you know, you can sort of do a little bit of stuff, but you know, I'm keeping it to a minimum because I think that you're a teacher. I think it's my job to keep this looking good, right? Like if you know, it's a bug if you put in some content and CueCam doesn't do a good job of laying it out, right? That's my philosophy on this. If you throw in a title and some stuff and it looks a bit wonky, I fix that, right? And you should not be fixing that by dragging around text boxes and image boxes and all that nonsense, because you're not a graphic designer. And then like the assets you're bringing in are, you know, it's all going to fight. And if you don't know if you don't, you know, your color theory and your typography and this and that, then it's going to be like impossible to keep it looking consistent. So that's why I take care of that. All you've got to do is like, I want a picture of this, I want a picture of this next to this text, next to this text. And that is just really all you're after, isn't it, for teaching? So I'm going to show you a quick demo of this, what that actually looks like. So we're going to jump over to the teaching slide examples document that I just had there. So you see, when I'm editing, I'm just up here. I'm just up in this area. So I'm going to say like, today's lesson is on lung functioning, right? So I'm going to put that down there. Maybe I want to put a picture of some lungs. Now, I'm just going to go over to my my browser and say, I'm just searching for lungs, right? Image, and I'll just sort of grab something. I'm just copying the first image I see, and then I can just come back here and like paste that in. Oh, that's pasted as a background, which I think I wanted it to be, no, inline. So you see now that's down the bottom. If I want it to be, you know, hey Tony, you know, it's very easy to sort of edit this stuff. But if you're not sure, like just, you know, have a look up here. You can go, okay, I want picture and a title. Okay, that would look like this. You can click on the title, start typing. You know, this is my title. So yes, it's like a bit kind of codey, but like you can click on the thing and it'll highlight the thing. Or if you click on there, it's going to give you a chance to replace it, you know, with another image and, you know, that kind of thing. You can drag and drop stuff. You can sort of do the things that you can copy and paste. It's so you can sort of like author these things pretty quickly. And I feel like I'm definitely glossing over the editing a little bit here, but the point is, we are not dragging around this stuff. We're just sort of like editing this text, right? And say I want this text to go above. I can just like select it, cut it, paste it up here, now it's above the other text. So this is sort of like, if you've ever done any like web stuff, but I'm coming from like a programming mindset a little bit, which is where I just want to say thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, and I want the machine to lay it out. Now, if we wanted a different layout, we could put that in a lower third. That's going to now put that image on the left, and it's going to put those things one above the other, whereas here, well, if I show you, if I were to put this down here, if we went like this, you see it does still put the text one above the other, and then the image is on the left, which if you actually think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, it did something special there. We can like change the width of this. If you want this to be a bit, a bit more compact, you can just drag that over and it's just all going to reflow. If you like, this text is a bit big, like one thing you can do is you can go to the dock and you can say, actually, I want my fonts to all be a bit smaller, but that's going to affect everything. But if it's like a title and you think, you can always just add another hash in there and that's going to make it the next level down. So you can sort of like just change the sizes like that. Images, right? What I wanted to show you, and then I just wanted to show you, like, if I present this, we're going to see like this comes in like this. It's doing this weird thing. It's going to put you, this is a bug that I just reported. I don't know why it sometimes squashes me. New version is coming out soon. You see, so I come out, I come in, my content comes in smoothly. This comes in, and then we come to the next thing, left, right layout, and then the bullets come in one at a time. It keeps you over here. It won't squash you, I promise. Don't you just love it when stuff is weird? When it's a big one, it just comes in straight away. Here's the tables. And this is sort of, and then when we're on a thing like this, so you see this, this area is up here. This stays fixed, but you can like zoom. I'm actually doing this from I'll do it from the Mac. You can actually just like zoom in on different areas, and it's going to, the titles are going to stay up there, but you're going to be able to sort of like move around this background image. And if you've got your pen out, you can, if you zoom in and zoom out, let's see. I think if you zoom in while you're on here, so if I sort of was embellishing it in whatever way, and I zoomed in, yeah, that should line up. We'll fix that. But you see, that's the various ways that you can customize these things. So coming back out of demo mode and sort of coming into here, I just want to say, yeah, working with CueCam, I've shown you a little bit of an idea, but the golden rule here is I think this is really important, don't keep adding to one slide. Add more slides, right? Don't have, what am I going to do? What is happening here? If I turn on and off my camera, will it fix my camera? I'm just going to go, I'm going to try a output shape, vertical, output shape. I just want my camera to be the right shape again. Anyway, don't keep adding slides, because I don't want you to get the wrong idea about this, because this is I'm supposed to be nicely framed in the middle. I know what it's related to. It's one of the last things I did. So here, yeah, this is that's kind of like my presentation on how to like avoid these ugly slides. Come and join us on Discord. Thank you so much for watching.